Good morning, everyone. October 8th, 2018. So we're about to hit a new flu season. And I talked about it a little bit yesterday. And in the comment section, some genius. And don't get me wrong, if this were a subscriber that regularly commented, I would have no problem going or implementing his request, or their request. I don't know if it's he or she, but they demanded that I showed state by state all the deaths that occurred last flu season to prove 80,000 people died of the flu. Of course, I'm not going to do that because they were assholes about it, but I am going to show you the statistics and go over this new article about how the CDC is urging us Americans to get the flu shot, even though the last vaccine was only 36% effective, and that's probably flattering them, 36%. I would venture to say that probably the flu vaccine was responsible for the spreading of the flu due to virus shedding. But before I get to this article, we will see these CDC early estimates indicate that more than 900,000 people were hospitalized and more than 80,000 people died from flu last season. And that's a good reason to not get your vaccine, your flu vaccine. Don't do it, because if you do it, you're probably going to end up with the flu, and probably a deadly version of it. And this is probably the statistics the commenter would have liked to have seen right here. So, all they have to do is type in something like 80,000 flu deaths last season or something like that, and you'll get the statistics. But there's always those naysayers, and that's fine, and they want to go get the fucking flu vaccine and kill themselves. That's up to them. So, let's see. Is there state-by-state statistics? No. But nonetheless, Fortune reported on it. All the alternative media reported on it. Talked about the flu. And this article was done early in the season, or about midway. The flu is killing up to 4,000 Americans a week. And you can multiply that by how many weeks the flu season was, and you'll get your number. Back to this. First, let me ask you, do you plan on getting a flu shot? I don't. There are numerous things you can do to keep disease away from you. Number one, eat a lot of garlic. I've gotten staph infection a couple times. I don't know if you know what that is, but you develop this big sore on your leg or wherever, and it swells and swells, and it gets to be rather painful. And eventually that sore bursts with gunk, white, pussy shit. Well, you can avoid the bursting and the swelling. And all you gotta do is take a little sliver of garlic, just a sliver, and tape it to the wound with a Band-Aid. And most of the time, by the time you wake up the next day, that fucking sore is gone. Now I know this to be fact because I've used it. So, apple cider vinegar, a little garlic, make your body inhospitable to a disease, and it won't come. And I've had to learn this the hard way. I don't know if Americans are preparing for another flu season, because Americans, most of them, don't seem to prepare for shit. They expect the government to come in and save them. But it's not the business of government to save you. It is the business of government to save themselves and kill you. Okay? So don't expect to be saved by the government. I mean, there might be, you know, a National Guard guy or some random cop that will come and pull you out of the water. But overall, the government, or pull you out of an accident, water, whatever. But overall, it is not their job to do this. Overall, it is their job to suppress you and kill you. Okay? I'm just being honest here. Okay. As Americans prepare for another flu season, the question of whether to get this year's flu shot hangs in the air for many, and the dismal success rate of last year's vaccine could serve as a major deciding factor. The United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention released a report earlier this year which revealed that when looking at the flu vaccine given to patients between November of 2017 and February of 2018, the vaccine was only effective in about 36% of the time. Each strain of influenza responded differently to the vaccine. The CDC report noted that one of the most prominent or predominant viruses, H3N2, had an even lower vaccine effectiveness rate. When combating H3N2, last year's virus was only effective 25% of the time. I think they meant to say last year's vaccine. So, I'm not getting a fucking flu shot. My daughter, my son, both of my sons, they're not getting the flu shot. And this is why. Why are you going to inject yourself with all that poison when it's not even going to work? I mean, you might be able to make an argument for it if it actually worked, but it doesn't. It doesn't work, and people are going to run to these pharmacies and get these shots, and one of these times, it's going to kill shitloads of people. I mean, more than 80,000. That means shitloads. Remember, Deagle.com has a population forecasted for the United States by the year 2025 of only 97 some odd million. That's a big reduction. And you know it. Anyone who watches this channel at all has seen the page, probably have looked it up, and saw for themselves. But hey, I'm just a conspiracy theorist. I'm just a nobody, honky white boy who knows nothing. Even though I'm right most of the time. So, and by the way, I looked up cloud seeding companies to vet something I saw in another video. And they told the truth. There are lots of cloud seeding companies out there, and I do encourage you to vet what I tell you. I do encourage you to look into it yourself so you can get all the finer details of what's going on. I'm only going to point you in that direction, and what you do after that is solely up to you. But the fact of the matter is, cloud seeding was once called a conspiracy theory. Now there's fucking dozens and dozens and dozens of companies dedicated 2, geoengineering or engineering or chemtrailing. But, you know, conspiracy theory, right? How many times do so-called conspiracy theorists have to be proved right until you start listening? Anyway, thought I would share this with you. I hope you all have a good day. And I urge you to look into what's going on with these vaccines. Till next time, kill the state before it kills you.